harmonize our altered dominant pentatonic scale that we talked about a few videos ago with cluster voicings. So we started off with that Bill Evans voicing, C major over E7 to give us the E7 sharp 9 sharp 5. We turned it into improv, we turned it into the pentatonic scale. We just hit Charlie Parker's 9-note bebop scale version of it. Now we're going to simplify back down to just the pentatonic scale, but we're going to do it with pianistic clusters. So we're going to get a chord scale first, then I'm going to show you where that blue note's hiding so you can make this complex mode of melodic minor chord scale sound really soulful and bluesy. And then finally we're going to augment that pentatonic scale with one extra note, and I'll show you why once we get there. So go ahead and grab the PDF and let's just play through these voicings first so you can hear them. Simple E7 shell, root, third, flat 7. Okay, not your standard jazz guitar harmonies, but believe it or not, these were actually a form of drop 2 chords. Let me show you what I changed about the standard drop 2 voicing to yield these clusters. In the traditional approach to drop 2, you have a 4-note voicing, you take the second to highest pitched voice, and you drop it an octave. Okay, what this ends up doing is it gives us 4 pitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? It spreads it out, which makes it a little more guitar friendly, which is nice. And then every time you go through an inversion, you're playing the exact same 4 pitches. That's kind of like if you have a painting in your home and you're tired of looking at it, you just turn it on its side. And then you get tired of looking at it that way, you turn it on its side. It's the same painting. It's all the same colors. What we're gonna do is take this note and just remove it. Just get rid of it. Don't drop it. Remove it. Now what's gonna happen is we have a set of 4 pitches. We remove one of them, we're only hearing 3. When we go to the next inversion, one of those pitches is disappearing and another pitch is appearing. When we go to the next inversion, another pitch is disappearing, another new pitch is showing up. So now it's kind of like having that painting that you're bored with, but you're taking a full color out and adding a new color in. And then you're taking another color out and adding a different color in. Okay, so how do we pick our 4 pitches to do this with? We're gonna go back to the starting point we've been doing with all of this. Bill Evans, top-down construction, right hand. What's the triad that he was using? C major. Those are the first 3 notes. Then we're gonna add in that same 4th note that we did back at the beginning when we talked about improvisation. C major with an A flat note added, okay? Technically G sharp, but we already have a G note in the triads, so we're gonna think about it as an A flat. Check this out, if we start on this high-pitched E note, right, we get E, C, A flat, G. If we remove the second to top note, that's the C note. Now we just get E, A flat, G. We can't play A flat and G on the same string, so we're gonna move the G down to the 3rd string, and now we have E, A flat, G. And now we have a minor second. Here's our cluster. Notice that 2 of these pitches are straight out of a C major triad. Every one of our voicings is gonna have 2 notes from the C major triad. This is how we're gonna come up with our different inversions and our different voicings. There are 2 exceptions to this, and they're both coming up right after this if you're looking at the PDF. This voicing has a D note. That does not belong in our 4-pitch set. If you watch the original pentatonic scale lesson, you know that that's the second note we added to come up with our altered dominant pentatonic. Okay, that's the D note. That's the 2 against C major. So what are we gonna do? Forget about the primary tension note for a minute. Same thing, 4-pitch set, but now we're using C major with the D note. Okay, so D on top, C major triad. Remove the second to top pitch. You can see it's just a C major triad with the D note on top, right? Except this is happening over E altered dominant. So this is the flat 7, the sharp 9, and the root. That's the first exception. When you have that other note from the pentatonic scale in the top voice, we can't use the primary tension, so we're gonna switch it up. Here comes the second exception. Sometimes when we're using our primary tension note, the tension note is the second to top voice. So if we remove that, we're just left with the 3 notes of the triad, which is a little bit bland and vanilla. So when that happens, just forget about the A flat, go back to the secondary tension note, D, okay? So now C, C major triad with a D. Get rid of the second to top voice, and we're left with this. Now we have 2 notes from C major, C and E, with a D note underneath, okay? From the standpoint of the altered dominant, there's the sharp 5, the root, and the flat 7. Okay? Notice again, 2 notes from C major triad. 2 notes from C major triad, 2 notes from C major triad. Every voicing will have 2 notes from C major triad and 1 other note. That 1 other note will either be the A flat or G sharp and the D. So now we have our entire pentatonic scale, C, E, G, with a D note and a G sharp note added. All of our voicings are built with those 5 pitches, which means that we have 5 different colors, and at any moment we're only ever hearing 3 of them, and we're putting them together in a way where it creates these clusters. Now, let's go back through and find that blue note. Remember from the pentatonic lesson, the blue note is right above the D. So if we're thinking C major triad, the 2 is D, the blue note is D sharp. That's the major 7 of our E altered dominant. That's okay. It's not an avoid note, it's the blue note. Here's the same pentatonic chord scale, but now I'm gonna add in that bluesy inflection note. right, did you catch it? I mentioned we were going to add a sixth note to this. We're going to add F. If you're thinking from the standpoint of the C major triad, this is what we would call tension 4. It's a very whiny note. Okay. From the standpoint of C, melodically, it's going to sound and function like that whiny tension 4. Harmonically, it's giving us the flat 9. The reason we're doing this is that it adds a tension passing note between G and E. If you're looking at the PDF, you should be able to see this. We have all of our C major notes on important moments in the measure, strong moments. We just bebopified the C major triad. Similar to what we did in the last video with the 9-note scale, where we added 2 tension notes in between every set of C major triad notes. Now we're adding 1 tension note, so it's closer to the sound of a pentatonic scale, but it puts all the C triad notes on the important beats. Don't worry about harmonizing that note, just hold down the 2 notes that we were using to harmonize the G note. Right, just let them ring out, move that 1 note. Okay, so now we have some oblique motion, we have liquid harmony, we have a blue note, we have a bebop type scale, a 6-note bebop scale, we have cluster voicings, we have a pentatonic chord scale. There's so much meat on these bones. This is tricky, right? That's why it belongs in level 3 of this masterclass. It is challenging to get these ideas down, but they're just built on the basic triad, turned into the pentatonic scale, and then using drop 2 construction ideas to come up with the cluster voicings. If you're getting the hang of this and you want to, you can use these voicings, go back to the previous video with the 9-note bebop scale, and try and harmonize that with these. That is tricky. That's going to take some serious muscle memory. Okay, we're just about done with our study of this E alto dominant for our Bill Evans Fretboard Secrets masterclass. When you're ready, I'll see you in the next video. We're going to combine some Barry Harris ideas with triad pairs to turn that C major triad into a triad pair, and then to turn that triad pair into effectively counterpoint.